The road to WrestleMania continues with one final pay-per-view stop. Hello, friends. It is Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyer here with you for our WWE Fastlane 2016 preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. We're delighted to have you with us. We're delighted to be here as always. I know it's a little late, but who cares? We're ready to rock and roll. So, Fastlane, of course, the final pay-per-view event before the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania, which is just about 6 weeks or so away. I mean, it's getting closer and closer, and, you know, the anticipation is at an all-time high. So, yes, Fastlane, of course, will be live tomorrow night from the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. Combined with the pre-show and the main card, 7 matches and a talk show segment on the show. Of course, you know the talk show segment. It will be the return of Edge and Christian. Edge and Christian will have the Cutting Edge Peep Show. Their guests will be the WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day. So expect a lot of campy comedy, bull-funky nonsense and hijinks during that whole thing. Let's be honest here. So we're not even going to get into that. So we're going to get into the 7 matches that are on this card. There are times, I know there's a decree that we usually don't talk about the pre-show fight, but I think in this case, we should make an exception here because this is one pre-show match that, well, believe it or not, we're actually looking forward to. It's going to be Kalisto defending the United States Heavyweight Championship one more time against Alberto Del Rio. Intercontinental rules here, folks. That means 2 out of 3 falls for this bout here. So very interesting here. I mean, you remember we announced this Monday night on our last edition of the Wrestling Forum. You remember I made the announcement about this, and well, Bullock and I actually knew about this beforehand because, you know, we did our Raw chat thing like we usually do. And when we heard about this, I mean, at first we were going on we were throwing hissy fits and going on tirades, but once this was made 2 out of 3 falls, we actually like, okay, all right. We changed our tune there. So, yeah, we're tune changers, but so what? I mean, this actually makes the pre-show worth watching. Hard to believe. I mean, I know nobody usually doesn't give 2 craps about the pre-kickoff show, whatever you want to call it, but I think in this case you might want to because, I mean, the matches that these 2 have put on have been very good. And I think this has the potential to be perhaps the best match of them all right here. A 2 out of 3 falls match. This thing should go at least somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 minutes. And if that's the case, then we're looking at a solid 3.5, maybe even 4-star match because these 2 guys can go. I mean, Kalisto, the more talented of the Lucha Dragons, everyone knows that. And Alberto Del Rio has put on great matches in both of his runs in the WWE, so we all know that. So this is going to be a fantastic match here, right here, and I honestly think this will be the blow-off right here. And with that being the case, I got to go with Kalisto here. I mean, Alberto Del Rio's been getting the better of Kalisto lately. On TV this week, they had 2 6-man tag team matches, and Del Rio and his League of Nations cohorts came out on top. You remember Monday Night on Raw? The League of Nations went up against the Lucha Dragons, and I believe it was Adrian Neville. And then Thursday night on SmackDown, which, of course, Monday night on the Wrestling Forum I'll get into when I do my Tony's Take. You all know that. Thursday night on SmackDown, it was the League of Nations that went up against the Lucha Dragons, but this time it was not Adrian Neville, it was Dolph Ziggler who joined them for that 6-man tag. I could go as far as to say that was the second best fight of the night on that show, and I'll have more on that, like I said, come Monday night on the forum when I do my Tony's Take on that. But here, I got to go with Kalisto here. Like I said, Del Rio and the League of Nations won both of those matches on Raw and SmackDown this past week. So booking 101, folks, that's all there is to it. You know how booking 101 works. When the challenger gets over on the champion quite a few times, 9 times out of 10, booking 101, that means the champion is going to end up going over. So I got to go with Kalisto to successfully defend, and then we can end this feud once and for all, and then maybe we can find a new challenger for Kalisto. Don't know who it could be, but a lot can happen between now and WrestleMania 32, which will be in 6 weeks. So we'll see what happens. But if Kalisto does hold the gold going into WrestleMania, hopefully we can find a more than adequate and suitable opponent for Kalisto to face. So we'll see. Or you never know. It could be more than one. You never know. But we're not going to know until, we really start the road to WrestleMania. We kickstart that sucker, come Monday night on Raw. So that's all there is to say about that. So Kalisto successfully defends the United States Heavyweight Championship in this 2 out of 3 falls match against Alberto Del Rio. Should be a great show. Should be a great match, I should say. And nothing left for me to say except, well, it could go down as one of the greatest kickoff matches of all time. The greatest, as we all know, when the Shield went up against the Usos, Money in the Bank 2013. I mean, that thing was freaking awesome. So who knows? Could this be in that mix? Could it top it? I don't know. We'll see. So with that said, I'd like to throw it up now to my partner in crime, fresh off a big day. He had a very big day today. If you don't follow the Special Olympics, his team had a basketball tournament today, and they won the tournament, and they won the gold. They brought it home. And may I say, I am not at all surprised because him and his team are just so damn talented. So with all that said, Phenom, Michael Bullock, you had a big day today. So let's cap it off with your thoughts on this Intercontinental Rules U.S. title match.
All right, thank you very much, Anthony Florio. Yes, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock here for our Fastlane preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always, and yes, it certainly was a busy day for me with the Special Olympics basketball tournament. We won both of the games that we had, and that's what led us to getting the gold medal. And in the second game, when we went up against Trudeau, we actually were down 10 at the half, and we actually came back and won that match, so to get the gold. So, but of course, I'll share that story another time. So, but as far as this kickoff match goes, I think this is definitely going to be a really good kickoff match. With this being a 2 out of 3 falls match, Intercontinental Rules, and yeah, I mean, when both Florio and I first heard this match on Monday night on Raw, we were both like, what? They're putting this on the kickoff match and not on the main card? But then when they made it 2 out of 3 falls, I'm like, okay, I'm actually fine with it. But yeah, I mean, these two men have been going back and forth. I mean, of course, started off with Kalisto winning the United States Championship from Alberto Del Rio. Then Del Rio wins it back from him, and then Kalisto wins it again. So, and yeah, this past week on Raw, or this past week, of course, Del Rio has gotten Kalisto, especially with his League of Nations cohorts. But of course, we all know the old saying, booking 101. So basically, I'm going to agree and go with Kalisto to win and retain the United States Championship, and it could be one of the best kickoff matches we've seen in a while. And I think this is going to be the blow off, and hopefully after this they'll move on, and maybe Kalisto can go on to find a really good challenger for the United States Championship at WrestleMania. But we'll wait and see once we officially kick off the road to WrestleMania. So give me Kalisto to win this. So that being said, Florio, let's get to the main card.
All right. Now we go to the main card of Fastlane, and Bullock's going to start off on this. Okay. It's going to be a 6-man tag team match. We got the Big Show, Ryback, and Kane teaming up to take on the Wyatt family. I assume it will be Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and Braun Strowman. I assume Bray Wyatt will be at ringside for this one. So Wyatt's against the Big Show, Ryback, and Demon Kane. Michael Bullock, you started off, and boy, oh boy, the way this came about on Monday night. Oh boy, did that leave a bad taste in our mouths, huh?
Yeah, this left a bad taste in our mouths, and I hate to say this match is going to leave a bad taste in our mouths this Sunday at Fastlane, because I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be the worst fight of the night here, and Of course, yeah, you got six big men going at it. Oh boy, am I going to enjoy this? Yeah, freaking right. So I'm not going to waste any time on this. I'm just going to say the Wyatts are going to win this one. So basically, I'm just done. So Florio, just take it.
Yeah, that's pretty much how we feel going
And
in.
one word, yawn.
Oh yeah, this will most definitely be a snoozer. I definitely agree with you on that, Bullock. I mean, this is going to be a TV quality match at best, and I do agree. This will most definitely be the worst fight of the night. I will be shocked if it's not, but you know, the way this came about. I mean, the way they set this up on Monday night. I mean, I still can't believe it. I mean, the Big Show versus Braun Strowman was the main event of Monday Night Raw, the go-home show to Fastlane. Okay, yeah, that's gonna put some butts in the seats. Yeah, right. I'm not gonna put some butts on the seats. It sure is only gonna put eyes on the screens.
Yeah, well, it's gonna put some butts in the seats, all right. The toilet seats. Ayo!
Yeah, you knew that was coming. You knew that was coming, boy. But I'll tell you what. This definitely has the potential to be an absolute dud, or we could be looking at a one-star match at the absolute best. I mean, it's going to be clunky, it's going to be boring, it's going to be slow, it's going to be plotting, it's going to be, yada, yada, and all that good stuff. So I agree with Bullock. It's going to be the worst fight of the night. This is basically going to be a showcase for the Wyatt family. So, yeah, there's no question about this. The Wyatt family's going over here. That's all there is to say on it. It's going to be the worst fight of the night. So feel free to either take a cat nap or, take a bathroom break during this, because this will be the bathroom break / cat nap fight. So yeah, the Wyatts are going over. All right. Next up, we got the first of two Divas matches on this show. We're going to have ourselves a Divas tag team match. The newly formed team of Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch are going to be going up against Naomi and Tamina. Yeah, interesting. So, interesting matchup here. I mean, Sasha and Becky, we all know their history, from NXT. They've had some great matches in NXT. I mean, who will ever forget that NXT women's title match they had last spring? I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, definitely one of the 10 best Divas / women's fights of 2015, no doubt about it. I mean, a 4.5-star match. I mean, almost 5 stars. I mean, that match those two had. And part of the Divas revolution, and I think we pretty much disintegrated all of the Diva factions. Of course, Team PCB, though that imploded a long time ago. That was the first to go. And then Team Bad now. They recently imploded a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. Sasha Banks was in the middle of a match, and she told Naomi and Tamina, "I don't want your help. I got this." And Naomi and Tamina took offense to it, and they attacked Sasha, and they turned on her. So obviously Team Bad is no longer, just like Team PCB is no longer. Team Bella, you could say, somewhat still going right now, although that could be, on the verge of not really imploding, but more like a mutual parting, if you will. And we'll get into that when we talk about our second Divas fight, which both of us are going to have a lot to say about it. So trust me. But this right here should be a solid match at best. I think that second Divas fight that we're going to be talking about, I think that one's going to be better, honestly. I could see this being a solid 2-star fight. And if I'm going to be honest with you, based on the body of work of the card here, I would probably have to say this will probably be the second worst fight of the night, honestly. If it wasn't for that 6-man snooze fest, I would probably say this would have been the worst fight of the night. And the reason why, and I don't mean any disrespect whatsoever or anything personal, but Tamina Snuka can't wrestle. I'm sorry, she just can't. She's not capable of putting on a good match. The other 3 girls are.
I mean, I'll tell you, and I'll add to this, Florio. I mean, back in the when she first came around, she can wrestle. She could wrestle.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know what's happened to her. I mean, she suddenly can't wrestle, and that's a damn shame coming from the daughter of the Hall of Famer Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Absolutely. And considering she's a part of one of the greatest wrestling families of all time, the Anawahi family, I mean, that legacy.
And you've got to wonder. I mean, is she getting buried because of just because she once had that the last name Snuka, and with what's going on with her dad?
That's a possibility, but
I mean that's the only thing I could think of.
That probably is, but we'll have to look into that. But not that I know of. I haven't heard any rumblings about that. But I'll tell you what. I hope Naomi carries the bulk of the match for her and Tamina, honestly, because we all know Naomi can go. We all know her body of work. Simple as that. And Becky and Sasha, what they're both capable of, like I just said. So, and of course, Sasha, had the Diva Fight of the Year in 2015 when she and Bayley tore the house down in Brooklyn last summer as part of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. I just watched the WWE 24 on that the other night, and man, I was blown away. I mean, I'm not even here. That's how good that show was. But honest to goodness, I'll tell you what. It should be a solid match, though. I mean, like I said, I'm expecting this to be at least a 2-star match. Not sure how much time they're going to get. They're probably going to get somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, I'm sure. So should be a solid fight. I have no doubt about the outcome here. I got Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch winning this fight. I'm sure there's going to be some dissension between those two. There's going to be tension and whatnot. But at the end, though, I don't know how they're going to do it. It's going to be one of the submission holds. I don't know if it's going to be Becky's disarmor or if it's going to be Sasha's Banks statement. We don't know, but I got Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch going over here. And, of course, the rumor about these two when it comes to WrestleMania is that these two in Charlotte are going to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Divas Championship. Of course, Derek Ferrera has been promoting that hard on his sports blog. Obviously, he did a sports blog post about that. Fantastic read. And we agree with that. We think that's how it's going to be at WrestleMania. And maybe Sasha and Becky could have a number one contenders match. Charlotte ruins it, and then they'll set up a triple threat for WrestleMania. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's what I'm expecting for WrestleMania. That's what we're hoping for at WrestleMania. And if we do get it, I think it has the potential to be the greatest women's match in WrestleMania history, surpassing Mickie James and Trish Stratus, which I still consider the greatest women's match in WrestleMania. You can ask me, you can ask Michael Fletcher. We can tell you stories about that because we watched that match when I had him over my house for WrestleMania 22. So at the time, so absolutely. So Sasha and Becky go over, no doubt about this. So Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this very interesting, as I call it, strange bedfellows Divas tag match?
Yeah, I mean, this is strange. I mean, who would have thunk that? Sasha and Becky Lynch would be teaming up? But they are, and of course they'll be facing Naomi and Tamina, and like I just said, I mean, Tamina, I hate to say it, like you said, she can't wrestle anymore, and that's a damn shame. I mean, because when she first came around to WWE, she could wrestle, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, could it be because she's related to Superfly Jimmy Snuka and the troubles that he's been going through? Could they be burying her because of that? I don't know. I mean, like Florio said, we'll definitely have to look into that. But yeah, it's a darn shame. But we all know Naomi can wrestle, and yeah, I mean, I do get this feeling there's probably going to be some dissension when it comes to Sasha and Becky Lynch, because let's not forget, I mean, the history these two have had. I mean, they had some matches. Before, so. But in the end, I think they'll be able to pull it together, and I think they'll win. So I do agree. I'm going with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch to win this. And what's next for these two after that? And I do agree that I think it's going to lead to the two of them being involved in that rumored triple threat match for the Divas title at WrestleMania. So we'll wait and see what happens. So, but again, I got Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch winning this one. So with that being said, Floyer, let's move on to our next match.
And you're going to start it off, Bullock. This is for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. This is one I know you're looking forward to. It's going to be the new champion, Kevin Owens, who, of course, regained the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship as part of a fatal five-way match on Monday Night Raw. And he's going to be defending against one of the men that was also in that match, and someone that he's had a very intense rivalry with over the last, several weeks, and that is Dolph Ziggler. So Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship on the line. Very interesting scenarios coming out of this. So, Michael Bullock, front and center, your thoughts on a potential Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship classic here?
Oh, I think this is going to be a good match here, and like you said, it was this past Monday night on Raw where Kevin Owens regained the Intercontinental Championship as part of that fatal five-way match on Raw. So, and then of course in that backstage segment, it was Dolph Ziggler who challenged Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. So now it's going to go down at Fastlane, and we know the bodies of work of both these men, and they can wrestle too, no doubt about it. So I think we're looking at maybe a maybe 3.25 star match if given the right amount of time, maybe even 3.5. Like I said, based on their body of work. So I mean, I know some people want to see Dolph Ziggler maybe get another run with the Intercontinental Championship because he's just good, but to me, I'll be quite honest, Kevin Owens is just a smidget better than Ziggler. So because of that, I mean, I say Kevin Owens wins and retains the Intercontinental Championship because to me, I'll be quite honest, I think it's too soon to take the title off of him. I mean, he just won it on Monday Night Raw, and then here it is 6 nights later, and you have him lose the title. That would not be a good sign. That would not be a good sign, and that's something I wouldn't like. So I got Kevin Owens retaining the Intercontinental Championships, and then what happens next for these two, we'll just have to wait and find out. So Kevin Owens wins this match. Florio, it's yours.
Yes, I definitely agree with you again, Bullock. I also have Kevin Owens successfully defending the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Dolph Ziggler. This, to me, is going to be one of the top 3 fights of the night. No question about it. You know how we always like to talk about our top 3 fights of the night. This is going to be one of them. Because I got a great feeling about this match. I mean, we've seen these two have great matches on Raw and SmackDown over the last several weeks. They've all averaged right around 3 to 3.5 stars, and this one will be no exception. I do hope they get the proper amount of time that they deserve. A good 15 to 20 minutes, I believe, would be sufficient enough for a very good Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship bout. A lot of interesting scenarios coming out of what we saw this past Monday night on Raw. I mean, you remember it started with you had that in-ring segment at the start. You had Dean Ambrose out there with Stephanie McMahon, and they had that back and forth, banter and whatnot. And then Stephanie makes the fatal 5-way match where Ambrose has to defend the title against Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, and Tyler Breeze. And it was Kevin Owens who won it with the pop-up powerbomb on Tyler Breeze and getting the fall on him to have Owens win the title. So a lot, and it definitely opens some doors when it comes to the main event, which you're going to be shocked with how I'm going to go about that main event. Let's just say I changed my tune when it comes to that. So yeah, hard to believe, but we'll get into that when we get into the main event. But nonetheless, Owens and Ziggler, both are great workers, both talented. We all know that. Should be a fantastic, fantastic match. Like I said, it's going to be one of the top 3 fights of the night. Give them a good 15 to 20 minutes of time, and you're looking at a solid 3.5 easy. I expect there to be some great close back and forth near falls, great action throughout, a touch of Shakespearean drama, definitely. Ziggler is going to come close on at least 2 or 3. I can see at least 2 or 3 occasions where Dolph Ziggler will come close to winning it. But at the end, Kevin Owens with the pop-up powerbomb is going to put Ziggler away. Now, when it comes to who Kevin Owens could face at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, honestly, the first name that came to mind was the phenomenal AJ Styles. But now, as I'm reading the pay-per-view preview column that I'm reading right now, another name has come into mind. And I wonder how Michael Bullock feels about this. Sami Zayn. How would you feel about that? How about an Owens and Zayn match at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship?
Wow. That would now that would be something, and we know the history between the two of them.
Yeah, best friends.
They used to be best friends, and now they just literally can't stand each other.
No, sir.
Yeah.
I tell you what. Let me tell you this, and Bullock, I want you to hear.
And let's not forget one thing, Flora, before you talk about it. I mean, remember one of those segments that Sami Zayn did on NXT where he said that he's not done with Kevin Owens? That's a possibility, and I think what a way for him to make his debut at WrestleMania and beat his former friend for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah. I mean, I just read this on a pay-per-view preview column that I'm reading right now, and I'm going and I'm doing that, and that's how I'm doing the order of the matches via that column. I mean, that's how I'm going to do it from now on. But let me tell you this: with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn battle it out for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And Bullock, I want you to hear this, and I'm sure you'll. And who knows? Maybe you'll agree with me on this. But then again, we usually agree on everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if you do. If Owens and Zayn face off at WrestleMania, it could give Savage and Steamboat a serious run for their money when it comes to greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight title match at WrestleMania. Amen?
Boy, I mean, knowing the history between these two, I say that's a possibility. But we'll wait and see. I mean, I'm not going to be like quick to judge on that yet. I mean,
of course,
I have to wait and see what happens if this match does happen. But I'm still going to say Savage and Steamboat is still the greatest Intercontinental title match ever. But
I agree.
But this could challenge it. But
definitely.
To say that it will overtake it, I wouldn't quite go there yet.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, Savage and Steamboat is still number one, and of course, very close second, obviously, Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. I mean, those are far and away the two greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship matches in WrestleMania history. Although you can make an argument, you also had last year, when you had that insane 7-man ladder match. Oy, but nonetheless, that's just a rumor. I mean, I know the more realistic possibility would be AJ Styles. I mean, that would be a classic too. Owens and Styles, could you imagine that? That would be just as good. So, but don't get me wrong. Kevin Owens will defend the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 32. Question is, will it be against the phenomenal AJ Styles, or will it be against Sami Zayn? Or maybe even both. Who knows? But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. It just depends on what kind of direction they want to go. So, but at the end, Kevin Owens retains against Dolph Ziggler. Should be a fantastic match. It's going to be a top 3 fight of the night for sure. So, yeah, pretty much said my piece on that. So let's move on to our next match, which is the second of our 2 Divas matches. And this one is straight up personal. For the Divas Championship, the champion Charlotte, who will be accompanied, of course, by her 2-time Hall of Fame father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, going up against, in what possibly could be her final match in WWE, Brie Bella. Oh, you want to talk about personal. You want to talk about emotional. My goodness. I mean, if you saw that unbelievable segment, in-ring segment that these two had this past Monday night on Raw, wow. Ooh. If it wasn't for the Paul Heyman segment that was also on that show, that would have been the segment of the night. The back and forth that Charlotte and Brie Bella had this past Monday night was, one of the greatest diva segments I've seen since today's attrition leader. That was insane. It was wow. That's all I can say about it. I mean, Brie Bella was supposed to be, an exclusive interview. Byron Saxton was in there. He was talking with Brie Bella, and then all of a sudden, Charlotte interrupts, and then these two went back and forth, and it was a thing of beauty. I mean, there was even a touch of Shakespearean drama in that. I mean, that's how great it was. And I know a lot of people have gotten on Brie Bella saying, she's not a good talker, not a good promo person, but I thought she held her own in this. I thought it was one of her best, in-ring segments I've ever heard from her. And Charlotte, I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, when she first won the title at Night of Champions, I mean, a lot of people were saying she was a boring champion. Well, ever since they turned her heel, she's been a much more entertaining champion. I'll tell you that right now. There is a possibility we could see Brie Bella get the feel-good moment here, considering the hard times that she's currently going through right now, for real. Her twin sister, Nikki Bella, underwent a very serious neck surgery a few weeks ago, which I believe was a success. But as hard as that's been on her, even harder, of course, her husband, Daniel Bryan, a personal favorite of not just myself, but also Michael Bullock, hence why we call ourselves the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement. That's why we want to keep that thing going. Of course, it was technically just about 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw in Daniel's, home state of Washington, Seattle, Washington. He's from Aberdeen, but it was pretty much a hometown thing in Seattle where he had to pull an edge and announced his retirement. And we all agree. Greatest in-ring segment in Monday Night Raw history. Surpassing a segment, the greatest Raw segment before that, he also had it. You all remember, it was the infamous Occupy Raw segment almost 2 years ago. As we were I think it was right around 2 weeks before. I think they did that right around I believe it was like 2 or 3 weeks before WrestleMania 30. So, but this Diva segment definitely goes as one of the greatest Diva segments of all time, no doubt about it. And of course, you could give Brie Bella the feel-good moment here, especially after what's going on with Daniel Bryan and her sister. And then maybe have her drop it back to Charlotte like the next night, have Charlotte invoke the rematch clause, and then have her regain it via nefarious means, maybe her or Ric Flair. I don't know. We'll see. But, of course, Michael Bullock and I, we've had a lot of talks about this. We talked about this a lot during our afternoon drives and whatnot, and also during our Raw chats and whatnot. But, we've gotten into this quite a bit. And I know Bullock will back me up when we get to him, but man, I love Charlotte. I mean, you all know I love Charlotte. I mean, Bullock, more than anybody how much I love Charlotte. Trust me. Not just because of her in-ring ability, but also because of her beauty. I mean, you all know that. And of course, her father, hello, Ric Flair. I'm the biggest Ric Flair mark out of all of us. Everyone knows that. But let me tell you, I love them. I love Charlotte, and I love Rick. You all know that story by now. But gut obviously tells me to go with Charlotte here. Heart tells me to go with Brie Bella, considering they want to feel a good moment, because of Daniel Bryan and Nikki Bella too. But here's the thing: booking 101 is going to rear its ugly head again, folks. If you didn't see SmackDown Thursday night, Charlotte picked up a hard-fought win over Natalya in a solid Divas match. And shortly after the match, Brie Bella Charlotte actually mocked Brie Bella. She mocked, her husband. She mocked Daniel Bryan. She was doing those yes chants. And Brie Bella had enough. Out comes Brie Bella, and then Brie Bella went to town on her. And she held up the title. 9 times out of 10, what does that mean, folks? It means the champ goes over. And if we're going to have that rumored and hopeful triple threat match at WrestleMania with Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch for the Divas Championship, then Charlotte has to retain. So as much as I would love to see Brie Bella get the feel-good moment, I'm afraid I got some bad news. I don't think it's going to happen. Charlotte's going to win it. I think it's going to be the sleeper fight of the night. I think it's going to be the 4th best fight of the night. It's going to just miss the top 3, if I'm going to be honest with you. I'm thinking 2.5 to 3 stars is my potential rating for this fight. So Charlotte's going to win. I don't know if it's going to be a clean win, if it's going to be because of the figure 8 or anything. Or we could get some Ric Flair shenanigans. I wouldn't mind that either, because you know how much I love Ric Flair. Hello. So that's pretty much it. So I got Charlotte successfully defending the Divas Championship, and then it's on to WrestleMania for that triple threat match with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. And as for Brie Bella when it's over, well, could it be retired? Could it be immediate retirement, or is she going to stick around? Because the dirt sheet that I just read, Bullock, says that she could be, you know, sticking around after WrestleMania. And if you didn't see Derek's video, Derek did a Fastlane preview video yesterday. He says that he could even see her being there right around until the summer. So we'll wait and see what goes on with Brie Bella, but she will retire eventually. So with all that said, Charlotte retains. So Michael Bullock, like I said, mainly during our afternoon drives, you know, pretty much during this week, you know, we've talked about this match in great detail. You know, we've been back and forth about this, and also during our Raw chats. So I know you'll back me up on that. So your thoughts now on what should be one of the most emotional and powerful and personal Divas title matches, probably since the days of Trish and Lita.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think this could be more personal than the Trish and Lita feud. I mean, of course, we all know that, and me and Flora, we did talk about it during our afternoon drives, and we both said if we were running WWE, we would have Brie Bella get that feel good moment. We would have her become the Divas champ, but of course, we all know who's running that business. Of course, Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, and you all know the history of those two. You know that that's not going to happen with those two, and I mean, yeah, I mean, this has become so personal. I mean, like you said on Raw, Brie Bella, it was supposed to be just an interview with her, but of course, Charlotte comes out and interrupts and talks about, Brie and Charlotte has a pretty good back and forth, and then things got personal when Charlotte brought up Nikki Bella, and then of course Daniel Bryan, and then during that talk about Daniel Bryan, she went there, and Brie basically had enough, started beating the crap out of her, and the same thing that happened again on SmackDown. So, my heart's telling me to go with Brie Bella. My head's telling me to go with Charlotte, but in the end, I mean, with this being the potential of Brie Bella's last match in WWE, I think this makes it as an easy choice for me. I'm going with Charlotte as well to retain the Divas Championship. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. So Floria, let's move on to the next match.
And you're going to start it off, Michael Bullock, and let me just make sure I'm on the right one here. Oh, what a match for you to lead off on, man. Oh, you're going to love this. It's the rubber match in what has been a fantastic series of matches. Here we go, one more time for the third time. Chris Jericho, one-on-one with the phenomenal AJ Styles. Michael Bullock, there's nothing left for me to say except you start this off, man. Your thoughts on the rubber match and what I think should and will be the best match of this 3-match series so far.
Man, oh man, oh man. I mean, what can you say? I mean, the 2 matches that they've had, I mean, it's been awesome, and I'm gonna make a statement right now. This is gonna be the fight of the night, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, AJ Styles since coming to WWE, has made a huge impact, and Florio knows a lot more about him since he watches TNA. When AJ Styles was part of it,
and don't forget Derek and Fletch too, Bullock, not just from TNA but also from the two of them, you know, watching the New
with
Japan.
Ring of Honor
And New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, but now this is like my first time like seeing him since he came to WWE, and this is why Florio, Fletcher, and Ferreira have been raving about this man, and and I'll be quite honest, I'm starting to rave about him too. And I mean, he's been really impressive. And of course, AJ Styles took the first match of the feud. Chris Jericho, of course, then took the second match. And this rubber match, I'll be quite honest, is definitely going to be a whole lot better than the other two. No disrespect to the other two matches. And oh, who do I go with? Do I go with the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho? Or do I go with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles? And if you read a blog from Derek Ferreira, he says this is of course according to him, he thinks the rubber match of the series should have happened at WrestleMania. I mean, I do agree, but maybe they got something else planned for these two at WrestleMania, so we'll wait and see on that. So, this is a tough one for me to call. But after all this, I gotta go with the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, to win the rubber match. And then what's next for the two of them? I don't know. Maybe AJ Styles challenges for the Intercontinental Championship. Maybe they got something bigger for him. We'll just have to wait and find out. But either way, I got the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, winning this match in what I think will be the fight of the night. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, and now you know why Derek, Fletch, and I have been gushing all over AJ Styles for all these years, Michael Bullock. I mean, since we saw him in TNA and saw him in the Ring of Honor and in New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan, he made a major name for himself, just like he did in TNA, winning almost every championship there is in both promotions. But, wow. I have no doubt about the outcome. I definitely agree with you, Bullock. I got AJ Styles winning this one. This is not tough for me whatsoever. AJ Styles is on his way. I mean, he's on his way to bigger and better things. And of course, the hot rumor right now going around about him is that he'll challenge for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Kevin Owens. Or maybe they do what they did last year. You never know. They could have like a multi-man ladder match. You never know. I mean, there's a possibility. I mean, remember, I threw Sami Zayn's name out there. And
could you imagine if it does end up being AJ Styles and Kevin Owens? Whew.
He'll be right up there. That's another match that could rank up there as one of the greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship matches, joining Savage and Steamboat from 3 and the ladder match from 10. I mean,
and Kevin Owens is going to spit in the face of AJ Styles, not giving two shits about him.
Of course. I mean, and remember, it was Kevin Owens who eliminated AJ Styles from the Royal Rumble match. So let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Styles has been on a solid run here in WWE so far. I mean, he lasts almost 30 minutes in the Royal Rumble match before he was eliminated by Kevin Owens. Next night on Raw in Miami, he goes one-on-one with Chris Jericho, his first official real match, and he goes over. He beats him. And then, he's also had a couple matches against The Miz, and he went over, I believe, on both of those. And then he finally tasted defeat for the first time when he lost to Chris Jericho on SmackDown. And I'll tell you, the SmackDown match I thought was a little bit better than the Raw match. The one that Chris Jericho won, the code breaker. So, rubber match, it's a toss-up for me. Not the outcome, but what I think could be the fight of the night. I mean, I don't blame you, Bullock, for saying that this could be the fight of the night, but don't forget the main event. There's just something about the main event that I think could end up being the fight of the night too. But let's make no mistake about it. At worst, this is going to be the second best fight of the night, at worst. But then again, it could be the fight of the night, depending on how the main event goes. But the main event and this match right here, these are far and away going to be the two fights of the night. Everyone knows this. I don't think it's going to be a 5-star classic by any means. I think it's going to be at least 4, maybe 4.25, considering that this is on pay-per-view and not on television. So they're going to get a lot more time to work.
Florio, I can understand why you've got, maybe the triple threat match as the main event, but
Possibly.
or the fight of the night,
Possible.
I should say. But there's just something about these two. These two put on a damn good match, and it's just the body of work of those two is just. I'll be quite honest, maybe better than the triple threat main event.
Absolutely. So,
That's why, to me, I think the Styles and Jericho is going to be the fight of the night, unless the main event really wows me.
and that's why I say watch for the main event as a possible fight of the night contender because of everything else, because of the body of work. And remember, those two are two of our favorite words, Shakespearean drama. Keep that in mind. Both of these fights are going to be chock full of it. I'm going to be honest with you. Both of these are going to be chock full of it. I think we're looking at a 4 to 4.25 star match at the absolute best. I don't see this being a 5-star classic, but then again, you never know. But AJ needs to win more. Obviously, a loss will not hurt Jericho whatsoever. AJ needs it a lot more, especially if he's going to move on to bigger and better things. So you put Styles over here. He needs to win and then go on to challenge for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. And if it's him against Kevin Owens, my Lord in heaven, that's going to be one hell of an Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match. Two greatest of all time. Everybody knows it. Savage Steamboat at 3, and the ladder match with Razor and Shawn from WrestleMania 10. Those were far and away the two greatest Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship matches when it comes to when that title's on the line at WrestleMania. We'll talk about Intercontinental matches at WrestleMania maybe when we do our WrestleMania preview, whenever that is. I don't know if it'll be on the Friday night, April 1st, or it'll probably be on that April 1st, that Friday night, because that's how we've been doing it the last 2 years. So, but nonetheless, I agree with you, Bullet. This is no doubt about it. I got AJ Styles going over. So with all that said, it's main event time. Number one contenders, triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Brock Lesnar with his advocate Paul Heyman versus Roman Reigns versus the Lunatic Fringe and now former Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Dean Ambrose. The winner will go on to WrestleMania 32 and face Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, okay. I know everybody and their mother is saying, oh, Roman Reigns is going to win this thing. This is so predictable. Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. Here's why. If Dean Ambrose was still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion right now, then I would say Roman Reigns all day. Here's who we know it will not be. We know it's not going to be Brock Lesnar. The only reason it's not going to be Brock Lesnar is because I smell some Wyatt family shenanigans during that fight. Bray Wyatt and or the Wyatt family are going to get involved, and they're going to take out Lesnar, and it's going to set up that long rumored match between Brock Lesnar and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 32, which will most definitely be a top fight of the night for sure, based on those two bodies of work. 3.5 to 4, easy. But so that leaves Roman and Ambrose. I know the gut. Everybody's saying this is Roman Reigns to lose. Everything else. But Dean Ambrose lost the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Let's remember that. And let's also remember, Roman Reigns never, and I repeat, never invoked his rematch clause after he lost the title in the Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble last month. No. I've never seen him invoke it. So he still has that. Now, I know everybody's going to say Roman Reigns, and I know that's probably going to include Bullet too. But 2 weeks ago, I would have said Dean Ambrose 2 weeks ago because he was still I would have said Roman Reigns, I should say, because Dean Ambrose still had the IC belt. He doesn't have it anymore. And here's a couple of other things to keep in mind. Who was the man that fought Roman Reigns in the finals of the World Heavyweight Championship tournament at Survivor Series? Dean Ambrose. Who was the man who was in the final two of the Royal Rumble match with Triple H before being eliminated by the game in the King of Kings, allowing him to become a 14-time champion? Who was that man? Dean Ambrose. Do you see a pattern here? Why not give him a chance? Dean Ambrose is one of the most, if not the most, over guy in WWE right now. The fans absolutely, positively love this guy. Trust me, I should know. When I went to SmackDown 6 months ago in Providence at the Dunk, when I went to that, no one got a louder pop than Dean Ambrose did. I'm not kidding you. He's over like Rover right now. And if they took the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship off of him out of nowhere this past Monday night, he's free to do bigger and better things now. Losing that title does not hurt him one bit. No. The IWC absolutely loves Dean Ambrose. IWC loves Brock Lesnar. But they absolutely, positively hate and cannot stand the sight of Roman Reigns. Going as far as to call him John Cena 2.0. He's going to get booed out of the building. He's going to get crucified, like a John Cena, like Bautista. He's going to get crucified. Dean Ambrose is an Ohio native. He doesn't live far from Cleveland. He lives in Cincinnati. And you know what? Dolph Ziggler also has Ohio ties. He went to Kent State University, for crying out loud. And he also had one of the most impressive collegiate wrestling records of all time. Look that up. It was a damn good college wrestler, was Dolph Ziggler. But then again, Brock Lesnar was too when he was in Minnesota. But nonetheless, Dean Ambrose, I got this feeling Ambrose could be in the main event of WrestleMania. Roman can get there by invoking the rematch clause. So I'm about to shock the world here, like Steve Harvey would say. If you watch Family Feud, Steve Harvey at times will say, "You shocked the world, you shocked the nation," when you said so-and-so, usually during Fast Money rounds, if you haven't seen it. Very funny stuff. I'm about to shock the nation, and I'm about to shock the world. I think I'm going to shock my tag team partner here. Roman Reigns is not winning this match. Nope. I don't think so.
What?
Derek Ferreira even hinted that. If you saw Derek Ferreira's preview video, he's going the same direction I'm going in. And hell, even Matt Ward posted, if you didn't read Matt Ward's Facebook post, Matt Ward, our friend and insider, he even went on the record as going the same direction as myself and Derek. The body of work of this match is going to be unbelievable. That's why I think this has the potential to be a possible fight of the night candidate. Because I think there's going to be some great near falls. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be physical. It's going to be a man fight. And when all is said and done, after all the great close back and forth near falls, and there will be plenty of those, believe that. There will also be Shakespearean drama at its absolute finest. Believe that. The winner of this match and going on to WrestleMania to face Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship is not Roman Reigns. It's not Brock Lesnar. So by process of elimination, we know who that is now. To me, the Lunatic Fringe, Dean Ambrose, is going to win this match. And then Roman Reigns is going to invoke his rematch clause for WrestleMania. And at WrestleMania, the main event of WrestleMania 32 is going to be a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. with Triple H defending against both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And you can believe that. Michael Bullock, Phenom, how do you follow that?
You know what, Florio? I was originally going to disagree with you, but now after hearing that and you mentioning about not only, of course, Roman Reigns and the history with Triple H, but and with Dean Ambrose getting eliminated by Triple H in the Royal Rumble match, I'm gonna have to agree. I think this. I'm gonna go down the same route. I'm gonna say Dean Ambrose is gonna win this match. I was originally going to say Roman Reigns, but come to think of it, he never invoked that actual rematch clause when he lost the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So maybe he could invoke it and make it into that triple threat match. But oh boy, we definitely gotta wait and see if they actually do go down that route. But I'm actually going to agree. I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose here. So call me crazy. So I actually agree with you. So with that being said, Florio, let's move on.
Yeah, I was not expecting that, but all right. Final, overall thoughts about how we think Fastlane is going to go down. So, Michael Bullock, when all is said and done, when the smoke clears and all that, how do you see? What is your the progressive overall rating that you have for this show tomorrow?
Well, obviously, of course, the fights of the night are obviously going to be, of course, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho, the triple threat match main event. Charlotte and Brie Bella, that could be something really good. Kevin Owens and Dolph Ziggler. So, and of course, I think the two worst fights of the night are going to be the Divas tag team match, and of course that 6-man tag team match. And I don't know, maybe we could be looking at a solid pay-per-view, maybe a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. But we'll have to wait and see. But I'm leaning more towards 7.5 to maybe 8 out of 10 when it comes to this. Actually, I'm actually going to say 7.5 because I think that 6-man tag team match I think is going to take a little bit away from the pay-per-view. So 7.5 out of 10 is going to be my rating. So Florio, I give it to you.
Yeah, 7, right around 7.5 out of 10. That's how I feel my rating could be. Well, Derek said between 7 and 8, and I think it's right around there. I agree with you on that, Bullock. Between 7 and 8 out of 10, there's no doubt about that. Fight of the night is a toss-up. It's either going to be the main event or it's going to be Styles and Jericho. There's no question about it. It's going to be one of those two. One's going to be the fight of the night. The other's going to be the second best fight of the night. Third best fight of the night in my mind, I think it's going to be Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens. Charlotte Brie Bella will be the fourth best fight and the sleeper fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. And then that second Divas match with Sasha and Becky against Tamina and Naomi. And then worst fight of the night, no question about it, it'll be the 6-man tag team match with the Wyatts against Big Show, Kane, and Ryback. That's got Snooze Fest and Stinker written all over it. And then you also, don't forget, have that cutting edge peep show with the New Day. Like I said, that's going to be Can't Be Comedy Bull Funky, and that will most definitely affect the rating, no doubt about it. And then you got a potential candidate for a potential best kickoff match ever when you have Kalisto and Del Rio going at it for that United States Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental Rules, 2 out of 3 falls. So it should be a most interesting Fastlane event tomorrow night from the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland. So it should be a great event. So we'll see how about it. So it's between 7 and 8 out of 10 for me. All right. Before we wrap up, a couple things. Last night, we were supposed to have a Strictly Sports broadcast last night, but due to commitments beyond all of our control, usually it's either Michael Fletcher or Michael Bullock or the whole 9 yards. But believe it or not, for the first one, this is a rarity. It actually included me. Very rare. I almost never have a commitment that would keep me from doing the show, but last night I did. Michael Fletcher couldn't be on the show because he had his work commitments as usual. Y'all know that story by now if you haven't been watching the last 4 years. Michael Bullock, of course, like I said, had his Special Olympics basketball tournament this morning, and he and it was worth it because like I said, him and his team went all the way. They won it all, and I'm not at all surprised because they have a damn good team. Trust me, I know a lot of them. And I had a special event at my church Friday night, which went a lot longer than I initially expected it would to, and then we went up the street to go out to eat afterwards. So that's what we did, and I didn't get in until after midnight, or right around the stroke of midnight actually. So it was right around midnight I didn't get home until. So we had to cancel the show, and we do apologize for the inconvenience, and we thank you all for your understanding as far as the reason why we had to cancel the show last night. But it'll be back Friday night. It'll have the same docket, and it will also have 4 new topics. So it's going to be a loaded show come Friday night. So I'll reveal the rest of the docket Friday night, or I should say Monday night rather, when we wrap up the Wrestling Forum. Programming reminder, of course, tomorrow night, immediately following the Fastlane pay-per-view, join Michael Bullock and Michael Fletcher on Fletcher's channel, Braves Fan 95. I will not be on the show tomorrow night. I have a family gathering that I'm going to be attending. So I already talked to Michael Fletcher about it. So it's a rarity, but I'm taking a personal day here. And it will only be for Fastlane, but don't worry about it. The next pay-per-view recap show we do, the night of WrestleMania, you better believe I am not missing that for anything. I will be on with you guys for the WrestleMania recap. I am not missing Mania for anything. Believe that. But even I need a little break. So I'm gonna take this one night thing. So Fletch and Bullock, I know you guys will do me proud. I'll definitely watch the show, and but I'll be back with you all Monday night. However, I'll be back with you Monday night for the Wrestling Forum. You don't have to worry about that. I'll be here for the Wrestling Forum Monday night. We'll recap. We'll sort out all the fallout from Fastlane as we officially start the road to WrestleMania 32. And we couldn't be any more delighted and excited about that because WrestleMania season. Oh yeah, the content's gonna be a lot more. You better believe that. That's Monday night, and then of course Friday night, that loaded edition of Strictly Sports. Not just the docket we were going to get into for this week, but we're also going to have we're also going to add some new topics to that mix as well. So and the power rankings, of course. So it's good. So needless to say, it'll be a loaded show. So that's Friday night. So that's pretty much it. So I'll see you all Monday night for the Wrestling Forum. Whereas Michael Bullock and Michael Fletcher will see you tomorrow night on Fletcher's Braves Fan 95 channel for the Fastlane recap edition of the Wrestling Forum. I'll be there in spirit, just like the Hardcore Pipe on Derek Ferreira is, as always. So that will do it. That will put the ball on this edition for this Fastlane 2016 preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. So for the Phenom Michael Bullock and in spirit the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher and the Hardcore Pipe on Derek Ferreira, it's ridiculously over Anthony Florio saying, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Have a blessed Sunday and enjoy Fastlane. And until, tomorrow night, technically, for all you fans, for Fletcher's, for the recap with Fletcher and Bullock. But for this channel, the next time I'll see you, like I said, until Monday night for the Wrestling Forum. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. And until Monday night, like I said, you've been watching this Fastlane 2016 preview edition of the Wrestling Forum. So for now, right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. So for now, Anthony Florio, so long.